So, guess who's stressed and partially dressed? Yeah, I'm back with another video, and today I decided I was going to do something that a lot of you have been asking me to do for a long while. I think I've actually tried to do this twice before, but if you didn't guess, you know, judging from the title that I'm going to do a shading tutorial, well, I guess you should read the titles. I shouldn't really have to explain this to you. I'm going to try my best to describe whatever I'm doing to you, and if you'd rather just see me draw this, I have a video of this drawings, this speed paint up. I guess I'll leave a link in the description, or maybe I'll go fancy and, you know, show it on the video so you can just click. I don't know, I can't do this fancy editing stuff yet, so probably just the latter is not gonna happen. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to explain. So, let's start with the boring stuff, the base color. Now, what's important with the base color is that you don't go too light. If your base color is too light, then you're not going to be able to highlight, and this has been an issue for me for a long time. I only recently started realizing this, that I had to go a shade darker in order to highlight. I know it's the stupidest shit. And also, if you go too light, you're gonna have to highlight with white. I really don't like using white for highlighting skin. It makes the skin look so plastic. Another thing is you really shouldn't be using the paint tool to color in your drawings, especially if you have multiple layers and you're using the line art as a guide, because what happens then is that when you remove the line art, or make the line art fade or anything, there's not going to be any colors underneath the line art. Also, you'll see me changing this skin color a lot throughout this video. I never really pick a skin color right away. I usually start off with one and then change it and then change it again. Just have fun. Just don't get so stuck up on everything. Now, I don't know why it didn't record me adding the colors, but usually I add a sort of pinkish red toned color to her cheeks, ears, mouth, any joints that might have, a sort of discolorization in real life, just to make her look more alive. Now onto shading. So I usually start shading in the face first. I don't really know why. I guess it's just a thing that I do. The color I'm using is this purple tone, and I'm using the brush tools to color this. Actually, the brush tool is like my favorite brush to apply colors with. I don't really know why, because it's not that sharp as the pen tool. It's just really soft, like a brush in real life. If I'm struggling, I usually picture the sun, like where would the sun hit her, and where are the high points in her facial features, and where would her skin dip, and basically you're just gonna contour your drawing. I usually add one coat first of this purple pinkish tone. I think it just looks really interesting, especially with the olive skin tone. They kind of clash, but it just feels good. You know what I mean? My shading techniques is usually what people want to know most about. So the tools I'm using is the brush tool to apply. I use the water tool to blend, and I'm going to add my settings in the description box so you can see and maybe create the tools that I have. So what I use to blend out my colors is the water tool. Now the water tool, it's a bit tricky, and usually what I do is that instead of making long strokes to make a perfect line, I make short strokes, to kind of just tapping my pen against my tablet, to create kind of a textured, dirty feel. That's usually the style I'm going with. I want I want my drawings to look gritty. So this is where I'm getting back to their highlight. You see, when I'm adding the highlight, it really creates a sort of definition that you can't get with just shading. A lot of people, they only shade and they don't highlight, and that's, it's a beginner mistake. Highlighting is just as important as shading. I'm I'm using this yellow tone because I feel it looks really well, you know, it's on the opposite side of the color spectrum from the purple tone, which I'm using for the shading, and also it looks really well, you know, with the olive skin tone. Moving on to the rest of her facial features, I usually start with, you know, I leave the eyes for the last, you know, the iris, because that's my favorite thing to do. And then I move on to her mouth, I color her throat, her tongue, her teeth. Actually, the teeth are like the only part of her body that I'm using, you know, almost the palest white, you know, because I want them to stick out. Now, which is probably my least favorite part, I'm coloring the hair. Usually I can't do hair at all, but for some reason I really like the outcome of this. Maybe this is my ongoing style from now on. I'm just filling in the colors everywhere, and then I'm going back and I'm shading with this darker blue color using my brush tool. And I really think that using the blue color instead of, you know, changing it up and using greens or purple really just made her hair stick out, which was my intention anyway. And then I'm just shading wherever, you know, light wouldn't hit her hair, because it's shiny. So you kind of have to be a little bit clever where you're placing the shadows. Most of them I place on top of her head and the back of her hair, you know, where some of her hair is, you know, some of her hair is in front of the face. So those parts I'm leaving light, while everything back, everything in the back I'm leaving shaded. And then lastly, I'm blending this in with my water tool again. And so for highlight, I decided to go with the same color I used for the skin tone, which is this neon purple greenish color. And I just really thought it fitted because it was the same highlight that was under skin tone. So it's gonna look like there's this big light shining upon her. And then I'm just adding some strands of hair to make it look like her hair is loose and not so compact. And then I'm going to color her clothes. So what I do usually when I color clothes is that I use the layer on top of the line art to color the clothing. I don't know, it really makes a difference. I think it makes it look like the clothes are on top of her, not a part of her, if you get what I'm saying. And then I'm just shading it normally with a darker purple and highlighting a little bit, just a little bit. And what's important is that you also shade underneath the clothing, especially if it's a loose top, which I already did, but you know, it's good to just get that out there. And then I'm just coloring the bugs. I really don't have anything to say about the bugs because I was staring at cockroaches for like 30 minutes when making this, and just use references, and you know, bugs are, it's a whole different thing to color bugs, and I usually don't draw bugs even though I love bugs, but our skin is sort of matte, but the bugs are shiny because they have a shell, and you know, you just have to take these things into consideration when you're drawing. Finally, I'm shading the eyes, and just shading around the orbs and then inside the pupil, which is supposed to be the darkest spot of the eye. And then I just highlight until I find it aesthetically pleasing. After that, I add the background, which is this boring green color that I just shaded a little bit. And then I do the final roundup of everything, you know, shading a bit more, adding some highlight, doing everything I can that I just feel fits and makes the picture seem more whole. And that's it. That's how I draw. That's how I color. And if you like this tutorial, maybe I'll do another one where I go more into depth about, you know, my different shading techniques and all of that. I don't know. If you have any other ideas, just leave them in the comment section. And subscribe to become a part of my pack, I guess. Is that how YouTubers do it? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye!